What's going on, gamers? In this video today, we're gonna be talking about the ULX Ultralight X Finalmouse. We got it as the Cheetah edition when this was back on December 18th. That was batch free. It has Omron switches inbuilt to this. As a disclaimer though, for this mouse, I'm not going to be going into professional skills of showing you the difference between click latency between one mouse and another mouse, but I can show you some results that I've seen from other YouTubers who've already gone and measured click latency to do with the ULX and the Beast X Mini. Now, what I do want to go into though, I want to go into comparisons, what I like best about these two mice and what makes them so unique and so interesting. Now, this mouse is a fully closed mouse. As you can see, it is very good with the clicks. They use in these the blue shell pink dot switches in the Beast X mouse, which is some very good switches that are in this mouse. This can go up to 8K pulling rate, as well as Finalmouse's mouse, where it can go up to 8K pulling rate, but at the moment it cannot do that. It can only do up to 4K. You don't really need 8K hertz. As another example, gamers, this has a very specific sensor that's built into it where it's not full 8K hertz on its own. So for instance, this uses 8K hertz locally, just like Wooting are doing right now with their ATHE keyboard that's going to be happening. It's going to be where it uses the full potential of onboard built PCB, as well as the receiver that has all the capable 8K hertz pulling rate, such as why it's so special with this Finalmouse, and why when you use it on lower pulling rates, such as like 1000 hertz, you can get higher click latency with this mouse. You can also get higher response time the higher the hertz are on the mouse, such as why it can then do like higher click latency. And both of these mice are very great mice. Personally though, gamers, as far as anything else, as you guys can see, as a look comparison between them, both of them are great as far as build quality goes. They are both great. This mouse uses Omron switches, which are your traditional switches that they put in the Logitech mouse and such like that. They did that with the Finalmouse too. These are very good switches that are usually within the mouse. It's like a normal touch all, one all type of click. Although the pink dot blue shell switches are a bit more sensitive when it comes to switching on the mouse. These were very sensitive, very cool because of how much light force of actuation you can actually press into clicking onto these. It takes a little bit more getting used to trying to get the switches going with a Beast X mouse as in comparison to Finalmouse ULX. So if you're used to the regular Omron type switches, these are your go-to with this type of mouse. Now, this uses regular blue shell, blue quantum dot switches, like as far as anything that's like the on the side buttons. The encoder is done very well. Very nice grippy scroll wheel is on the Finalmouse ULX. This is like a regular notchy one. But having that being said, anyway, Beast X has also gone ahead and released themselves another version of their mouse that has came out currently, which is the updated Fabulous Beast X on their product side page. Fabulous Beast X WL Mouse 8K. It has lots of different color variants. It has a rubber scroll wheel now, as in comparison to beforehand where it's like the plastic scroll wheel. Yeah, that's a personal preference thing too. It's also a little bit more expensive as in comparison to its predecessor version of the mouse beforehand. That's also like a thing on its own thing of why you'd want it to be more expensive or not. Anywho, also saying about that, it also has a much better updated dongle that is in comparison to its original counterpart, because the original counterpart had a Rubik's Cube dongle. Now you have what is a little paw as a dongle, which is much better for like desk space, because desk space is very important for us gamers if we are wanting to swing our arms about being able to use our mice, because this is very important to us to be able to have enough good arm space, which is just how it is. I do want to go and mention saying that my personal favorite things about this is the weight balancing that is in comparison between these two mice. People go and said saying that they didn't think that they liked the ULX mouse as much because the weight balancing was like back heavy in comparison to it being front heavy, whereas on the BSX mouse it's quite a front heavy mouse, so it is quite light. But when I did go to adjusting being able to hold this mouse, I did notice that it feels a lot lighter. It does feel very light as far as being able to move it across. That this feels a little bit more well balanced and proportioned as in comparison, in my opinion. Apart from where, if anything, feels like it's a bit back heavy is the battery at the back of this, but I can't necessarily gripe too much about that because they also went and added in a little PTFE foam, which is a much better and included part that should have been stock on the mouse when they originally went and did it, because there is no excuse of not having something that can allow the mouse to be protected. Having that being said though, anyway gamers, as that being known between these two mice, in the next batch wave that they have went and done, there is a Tarik Waves that was a ULX Pro version that they went and done, where it's a blue and white version, where they're also going to be doing other creator collaborations, where there's going to be a bunch more different people who probably will also go into the brand of it, have their own different colors. I'd love to see like an orange and blue version of it, like as if somebody was like a Dragon Ball fan. You know, that would be really cool to me personally. But yeah, I really like this mouse. Stock skates were pretty nice, pretty nifty, but we have switched the skates out. We did initially switch them out to some glass skates that we also went and got ourselves. But right now, the skates that I am using on this mouse are the core pads. Core pads are one of my favorite skates. I used them both on this mouse as well as on the BSX Mini, where I went and got them. I used them on my Logitech mouse. That was my favorite skate that you could use just for anything, because it just gives me the right amount of balance, the right amount of speed and momentum whenever it comes to moving my arm on a mouse pad. The one that we are using right now, as I mentioned prior in the start of the intro, is the Neptune Lethal Gaming Gear Mousepad, which is not the Neptune Pro because the Pro version is not out yet, but we will also be wanting to test that one out. But this is very nice mousepad. It's not very thick, nice thin lining to it. It has just enough amount of speed as far as moving from tracking or anything. So like Kovacs have been like really fun. It has been using this mouse pad. The ability not needing to use a arm sleeve is great for me personally, because I love the ability to just relax and chill. That's also what's important, is comfortability, being able to be comfortable, being able to move with ease, being able to be accessible for you guys. That's what you want in the end of the day if you want to have a good gaming experience, in my opinion. Yes, sometimes there's that idea of better speed, better so-and-so things, because you could use like glass stuff or anything else like that. But personally, in my opinion, gamers, if you want to use glass, use glass on normal skates of your mice. Don't use glass as a surface on your desk. You're just going, hand has skin, and your skin drags, and skin stops yourself from moving the mouse. And in the end of the day, whenever we're tracking, whenever we're shooting things in video games, we don't want to stop. We don't want to have our hands to a stop. That's my whole idea about that whole gamble on its own, but that's a completely other topic that can be given for another day. If you want to know a difference though, as a thing as in comparison, is the width between these two mice. The width on this mouse is a little bit more thinner on the Beast X mouse. That is why we used the included grips that were with the mouse. I also went and got some stock grips that were core pad ones for the Finalmouse ULX Small Edition, which was originally for the Ultralight 2 mouse that they went and had. Yeah, the Ultralight mouse. That was their original small mouse that was like super light. It's great that they had these type of grips to be able to put onto this mouse. The width as in comparison on the ULX mouse has just the right amount of it's like width that allows it to have a little bit more grip as far as anything when it comes to holding this mouse. It has much better comfortability for people who have larger or smaller hands, in my opinion, as in comparison to the Beast X mouse, because the Beast X mouse, as much as I want to grip this mouse and use it, it also feels much like a cheese grater every single time I'm holding and pushing things down. Having that being said too, the grips also are pretty bad when it comes to holding the mouse, because of the ability is the mouse has these very small side buttons, as in comparison the mouse on the ULX mouse, where it has the side buttons extended outwards a little bit better. If you want to have the best side buttons on a mouse, I'd definitely be looking for the Finalmouse, because this is like one of the, if not is the best mouse that can have these type of side buttons, because these just have the right amount of push and pressure that they went and put in to make these just be that nice extended outwardsness to them. So then if you are the person who wants to use grips on this mouse or doesn't want to use grips on this mouse, you'll never have that problem about hitting the buttons on the sides of this mouse. They are just that darn fine that they will work. As another thing that people have done and mentioned whenever it comes to this mouse is the squeakiness of the mouse. Now, as far as anything as build quality, it's a little bit like squeaky and buildy on like the sides at the top of the mouse over here, and a little bit like on the on like the top of this bit, and the back was shown of it being a bit like back. But as far as me looking at this on the Beast, on the Cheetah, though, it's not pressing inwards, because there is not excess amounts of carbon fiber on this mouse as in comparison to its original stuff. And then I also went and unscrewed it. I did, just able to re-align the clicks, and I did screw in I did re-screw the screws on the top of this for the clicks, just to put a bit more on the tensioning on the left and the right click. I didn't like the tensioning as in comparison to what they were stock. I do quite like it now as in comparison. You hold the mouse like quite further back in the middle wrist area. You want it to be enough that your finger is like pointing, your thumb is pointing outwards enough to be able to press these buttons. But you don't want your hands to be resting on it where it's then too much, you know, because that's a thing that people just don't get either sometimes with gripping their mouse, is the ability of being able to hold it properly. That's a thing that is important. If you do not know how to hold your mouse, I don't know why you're buying a mouse in the first place. Why buy a mouse if you do not know how to hold the mouse? Seriously, why buy the mouse? Anywho, clicks. As far as anything, this is how they sound. Side buttons. And yeah, that's pretty good. Oh yeah, and then one more side button test of showing the side buttons on the side of these. Oh yeah. Also, what I do quite like is the little switches on the bottom. The switches here to the side of this, as in comparison to on this mouse, where the switches in the middle mouse, where like it's most prominent, where you won't be able to easily go ahead and accidentally switch it on and off, which is pretty good. Can't catch on to things, which is very nice like that too. Really do like this mouse. I like the clicks of this mouse just a little bit better with the switches as in comparison to the Omron switches. That's just a personal preference too, though, whenever it comes to using these type of mices. Having that being said, Finalmouse is going to be using in the next wave of mice blue shell pink dot switches. I do not know if they will be continuing this for their next upcoming batches. Having that being said, that these were just the pro line of ones, if they were just an exclusive deal of ones that are coming out just right now. We are going to go ahead and also go and test out all those different type of mice too, as we have also went and purchased each version of the size of this mouse in small, medium, and large, as I do want to go and see how much of a difference between the sizes are on this mouse. I do very much enjoy the Cheetah version of this mouse. As far as its size, it is very nice and beneficial for myself. I do want to try out the medium and the large just to see if I do like any of them better than I do like the Cheetah. As far as weight and as far as hand size for myself, because my hands are like 17.5 by like 10, this is a perfect hand size for me, is the Cheetah. That's why I chose it as this one originally, and why we also then waited 4 months and able to get this mouse. But it was worth the wait, if I do say so myself, and it looks very clean too. I very much do like that matte black with the gold. That is a banging color, in my opinion. Oh, one thing we forgot to talk about was accessories. The Beast X mouse came in this type of box. That was a white box, and it has a bunch of things where it had the cat dongle, had the mouse, it has the little leaflets, all the little booklet things. It had a nice little envelope that had all the nice little goodies that were inside of it, that included some stickers as well. There's some mouse skates that were all here. So we had these ones that were regular skates, big and normal skates, the nice little grips that they went and included within this. These have gone very gray. Grease is a death trap whenever it comes to grip, as well as some glass ones that they also did go ahead and include. Now these are great skates as far as for the Beast X mouse, because it's like a great 4-corner ones. It's also very thin too, is on this mouse, so you can put anything that can be like very flat and narrow on these. Personally, I do like the Finalmouse style mouse feet better than I do like the mouse feet that came with the Beast X mouse on its own, because they just have a different curvature and feel whenever it comes to how flat of a profile they are on that mouse, how much they cover, how much, because Finalmouse just get it right. They just got it right. And that being said, here's the Finalmouse box. We got it as a big F, and it says on the sides of this, aim for greatness, and then Ultralight X, as well as seeing on the mouse, this is what you're covenant and greeted by. You see the mouse straight away on top of this. The dongle was placed in the middle of this. And as soon as we open this and move this, this is where we then come and see that we have the stock grips that they went and put in the box that are pretty alright, pretty nifty. These are not the most sturdiest type of grips though. Put these in Logitech mice and everything. And you know, yeah, we also got like a nice little manual that they go and show and tell you how to turn on your on and off your mouse. It's very simple, really, just one switch. As well as the inside the box, we had the extended cable that was also inside of this. People also did go ahead and mention saying that their mouse cable was not lying flat flush on their desk. That's a you problem, not a me problem, because for me it's lying flat flush on my desk perfectly fine, because I have things in my desk where I can put weights on cables and allow the cables to lie down flat. Now I do understand it if it is weight balancing issue, because it is pretty lighter is the dongle as in comparison to the cable, so that's why like it would easily like stand up with the cable if you're not careful with it. When it was like not lying flat, all I did is just put a little bit of pressure on it and just pushed it into my mouse pad a little bit. Like did that for like 2 different days, and you know, it lies flat. It works. Also, as another thing that I wanted to state out as unnecessary biases, people also did go ahead and mention too that if you then click on the mice, that there is a little bit of wobble as far as the side buttons go, and there is a little bit of wobble on the back side button. But as far as anything, when I'm pushing, it's only when you push both the side buttons down and then try to move the side buttons a little bit. There's only a little bit of wobble on one of the side buttons as far as anything when it comes to the Cheetah. As far as this has been for me. It's just an RMA issue, you know, just is the look of the draw, look of the batch. That's basically it whenever it comes to these QC issues that people have on these mices, such as with like Finalmouse and such like that. In my opinion, I do not see that as an issue with the side buttons having that little bit of movement to them, because as far as anything, I do not faff about with my mouse and like push the button and then push my finger like all over the place like this, like with my thumb, because who does that? No, you do not do that. You just press the button like this, like a spam click, and then a spam click forwards like this, because that's the thing that you want to do with your mouse. You want to be able to use your mouse properly. You do not. It is not a fidget toy. It is not a fidget spinner. It's not this. It's not designed to spin. It's designed to be a mouse. So in the end of the day, that's also what I want to mention too. Great mouse, enjoy it, and yeah, it's cool. I hope you guys have enjoyed all the comparisons between this mouse and the other mouse. If you guys are new to the YouTube channel, please do remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see us all around later. Goodbye. See you, gamers.